Welcome, everyone, to episode 33 of the Die, Laugh, Love podcast. I'm your host, Josh Simonds, psychic medium and author, and I'm here with a very special episode number 33, that is a result of how I spent some of episode 32. Before I go much further, I just want to remind folks that I call this the Die, Laugh, Love podcast because life is short for everybody. While we're here alive on earth, we should be doing our damnedest to laugh and love before we all inevitably pass away. With that in mind, what I did on episode 32 was I gave away a free reading to somebody that was in attendance during that session. And all I asked folks to do was that if they wanted a free reading with me, to simply put their email address into the comment section of our Zoom call, and I would go through that. Now, as I went through that, I didn't use a random number distributor or anything like that. What I actually did is I just went through and let my eyes go and hit the email address and the chat message that was there for the person. And now I'm sitting here with Corinne. Now, Corinne, I do want to thank you for partaking with this because you and I are episode 33. I want to jump into this like I would a standard reading that I would give somebody, and I've actually given plenty of them to people sitting in their cars. So don't worry about that at all. I want to say before I jump into this time with Corinne that it's my intention today to bring her love, connection to spirit, clarity in her life. And as I sit with anybody, I ask people to lower their expectations around what they think sitting with a psychic or a medium is about. Also, bringing a sense of humor, because I'm a believer in what I call vitamin joy, the way that we need to consume joy like a vitamin so our hearts and our spirits can stay healthy. In a position like this, what I do is I channel who and what comes through, what they have to say, but I want to make sure that Corinne has enough time to perhaps point me in a particular direction. I find that spirit will prioritize what they want to talk about. And sometimes folks will sit with me, and instead of hearing about work, they might want to hear about family or vice versa. So I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to then make room for Corinne to say, hey, I was hoping to hear from this person, and we can talk about why they're not showing up, or maybe we can kind of ring their bell and get them to show up, what have you. So before we jump into this, I do want to let folks know that might be listening or watching this podcast at a later point what Corinne and I have shared up to this point. So Corinne put her email address in. I don't know her. I've never met her prior to this. I sent her an email saying, hey, you won this reading, episode 33. We just have to coordinate a time that we can get together. And as we were coordinating a time, Corinne did something, and she wouldn't have known any better. She let me know that she has a husband and a couple of kids and a schedule to work around, and that she's also located on the West Coast in Oregon. Now, when I sit with folks, I like to have a blank slate because I like to not know anything about them. And I do want to say, it's going to be very difficult for me to read you in this way without kids, husband, what have you coming into this story. Okay. Now, I want to bring forth the very first person that I have here. Now, Corinne, I'm from northern New England, and I kind of talk about hopefully how down to earth I am when I do this work. And I was raised by some rough and tumble folks. I like to tell people that I was raised by a waitress, construction worker. They were pretty much bikers back in the 70s and 80s when they raised me. That's the kind of childhood that I had, real rough and tumble one, if you will. And it's funny because I have a woman here in spirit around you, and I love how she's presenting herself to me because not only is this woman coming through with a sense of love and grace and compassion, like she would have been all of those, she would have also been very down to earth. And in my vernacular, and I say this with so much love, she very much feels like what I would call a hot shit. Okay, somebody who's very like sassy, saucy, down to earth, say it how it is. So I have these two parts and pieces to her. Somebody who's very loving and gracious, and then also somebody who kind of say it how it was. All right. Now, how she's coming through to me, I believe, This is one of your grandmothers, first and foremost, okay? And the way that she's coming through to me, and it's funny that she would say this, she shows me to be like Mrs. Claus, okay? Like the kind of like I didn't have the sort of archetypical grandmothers, I didn't have those. This woman feels to me like an archetypical grandmother. And it's interesting to me because one of the things that she shows me is pies, pies, pies. She shows me pies immediately. So, did you have a gram? Uh, in the description that I have, gracious, almost maybe Catholic, down to earth, but then like saucy and a spitfire. Did you have somebody like that?
Yeah, I did. She was very much like just loved her family, but she also would not hesitate to let someone know if she didn't like something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like
And
like the warm and fuzzy feeling I get from like the Mrs. Claus part of her. She wants to wrap me up in love. She wants to wrap me up in
yeah,
love. But then she's very much like, oh, I'm going to shoot straight from the hip. I'm going to shoot
yeah.
straight from the hip. Can I ask, why would she show me this? I love how she's showing me this, and it might be because of the holiday we're walking into. I see the pie, but what is up with like? I know that people normally don't do this. I don't know why she's showing this to me, but it looks like there's a thing of whipped cream around the crust. Like it feels like it's framed with something. Do you know what that's referring to?
Uh, is it like are you seeing pumpkin pie maybe? But
Sure. Yeah, 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 yeah.
so
Something like that, like a holiday pie, but something that's framed around it, like a
I don't know why she's showing like framed around whipped cream, but we used to make fun of her because when she would get like a slice of pumpkin pie, she would just cover the whole thing with whipped cream. So I don't know
okay.
if
So
that's
she's
why.
she's she's showing me that, and it's funny. I don't know if you've ever seen this meme. There's a meme that floats around with pumpkin pie, okay? And somebody puts like a little matchbox or something on the pumpkin pie, and then does like like almost like a streak of smoke, like the car's burning out. I'm kind of
Yeah,
seeing that. So she's showing me the
that's
pie
funny.
with the whipped cream on top of it.
Hmm.
I want to say something to you. Uh, it's incredible. Please don't take this the wrong way. The first thing that she says to me is like, "You're beautiful." She's telling me to tell you that you're beautiful. She wants you to know how beautiful you are. But what's interesting to me is that this woman must have put much more effort into herself than you do.
Yeah,
Okay, the reason
yeah.
why I say this is because, and please don't take this as a judgment. You're sitting here, Corinne, like with hair, I mean? It's not curled. It doesn't, it's not like up and it's not whole, like you don't look like you're ready for a night on the town, is what I mean to say.
No, no, no.
And
She was,
and
yeah.
she's yeah, she's very much showing me that there's a difference between her and you, but still wants to say that you're beautiful. Now,
Hmm.
okay. Was this mom's mom? Was this your mom's mom?
Um, yeah, I think so. You're shooting similarities here, so I'm not sure yet because they're
Okay,
very
hold on one
similar
second. I'm
people.
gonna yeah, I'm gonna help you figure out who this is, okay? Because I think this is mom's
Okay.
mom. All right. First, let me ask you, were one of them Catholic over the other?
Yeah,
Okay. Like
yeah,
she's giving me a little bit of Catholic energy, okay? But the interesting thing is she's saying to me that you don't have to worry about like bone density things, like osteoporosis, things like that. Can I ask you, did she have bone density, osteoporosis, arthritis things?
yes. Can I say something weird though? So my mom was adopted, and we don't know anything about her birth family except for that she was Catholic, and it was back in the 60s when birth mothers would get like put into like Catholic homes where they would give birth and kids would be adopted out. That's the only info we have. But the person who adopted my mom was also Catholic, so it's like, you know.
Okay.
Um,
So watch what
but I
happens. Watch what happens here.
okay.
So the person who adopted your mom would be Catholic. Am I describing her like down to earth and gracious and then put a lot of energy into herself?
Yes,
But
yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So that's who I have here. Now she's going to know that there's like bone density things going through your genetics, going through your bloodline. And it's interesting because she wants to tell you that you don't have to worry about them. No, I'm not a medical provider and I can't provide you medical advice. Okay. Just by the nature of what I do. So that doesn't mean like abandon your health or give up on yourself. That actually means, continue to take
Hmm.
care of yourself. But it feels like she's really bringing my energy to osteoporosis, bone density things, and saying, don't worry about it. Okay. Just don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
I was diagnosed on my 28th birthday with degenerative disc disease in my back. So I don't know if that's what she's talking about. But like my back, the discs in my back are like, you know, wearing down. And my doctor was like, "Oh, this looks like an old person's back, basically." So that might be what she's talking
Okay.
about.
I
Yeah.
absolutely. And I don't think it's going to get worse. And I don't think, I believe that you're a person who takes relatively good care of herself. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like you're healthy, eating good foods, all that. I don't think that you really are running the risk of that, but she's just talking about how that's not going to be an issue.
Okay.
Okay, so all right. It's funny, Karina, you said you're young. How old are you?
I turned 28 in August. Yeah. So
You
I'm
turned
young.
28 in August. Okay, so you're 28. I'm
Hmm.
46. It's funny. She appreciates your old lady style. There's something about you that's kind of like old lady-ish. And let me
Yeah.
tell you about that. It feels like old-fashioned. Um, it just feels like old-fashioned, like, keep a good home, sort of like, take care of things. She says there's part of you that's like an old lady.
Yeah.
You know what that
Yeah.
means, right? Like, yeah, traditional,
Yeah.
sort of like old-fashioned. Okay, she loves that for you. Also, hold on. Um, Based on what she's telling me, you and your husband have to have a great relationship. I hear the two of you laughing and joking back and forth, like there's banter.
Yeah.
And she says to me that there's like, she loves how you mess with him. She loves how you like rib him and mess
Yeah.
with him and joke with him and stuff. And it's funny
Yeah.
because what she's saying to me now is that by doing that, that brings him out of his depression. There's something where
Hmm.
he has like depression or like glumness, Eeyoreness, and you're messing with him a little bit, playing with him, ribbing with him, and that brings him up. She's like, good job for you. Now, interestingly, why in the hell would she put into my mind the Space Needle of Seattle and tell you to go there? Now, this is funny to me because, like, you're in Oregon. You're in the West Coast. I know that's the state
Yeah.
south of Seattle. I have been to
Uh-huh.
Seattle. That's really all my exposure to the Pacific Northwest. I have been to the Space Needle. I know what that is. But why is she telling you to go there?
Um, I feel so you brought up my husband before, and I kind of feel like she might be like looping this in because when we first moved to Oregon and we were engaged, we went to Seattle together on a day trip. And like we were like, oh, like this is so stupid. We're spending so much money. It's like $28 to park, you know. So I don't know if she's like maybe I'm reading into it, but I don't know if she's like, go like spend time with your husband or, you know. Um,
It could be, or you guys need a vacation, or hear me out on this. Watch what she did here. And I love how these messages work. She shows me this banter back and forth between your husband, loves how you rib him. And then she goes from that message to Seattle, almost with like that push. So if you guys aren't due for an actual little vacation, 3-day weekend or something away in the city, if you guys aren't due for that, it might be a push back to remembering why the two of you got together in the first place. Like
mhm.
go back to the roots. Because as parents, and I speak from experience, I've seen this a lot. When you're parents of children, when you take that really seriously, you'll devote so much energy into being parents that sometimes you can forget to be partners.
Mhm.
Like you can just forget to like go out on the dates and remember why you were in it in the first place. Okay. Why it is
Definitely.
again here she's back about your old lady stuff now. Watch. Hold on. She says something about she loves your knickknacks, like loves your little like figurines or something. She's showing me what looks like 2 to 3 inch tall, like little porcelain knickknacks or something. She just loves them.
I just decorated for Christmas yesterday, and I have some like Christmas knickknacks, so that could be what she's talking about.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, if that's the stuff that's out, she loves that. Okay, that's great energy. Also, um, this can be problematic. She's now telling me to ask you about your connection to fairies.
Fairies. Um, my niece has a fairy garden. Do you know what fairy gardens are, right? Yeah. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so we like get her stuff for her fairy garden every time we're out. That's the only thing I can think of with fairies is that my niece's fairy garden and my daughter's, good friends with my niece. So whenever we're out, she's like, "Oh, we have to get this for Nori's fairy garden." Like,
Okay,
yeah.
look at what that is. That is, you're doing things to care for the young children. So she brings my attention to the fairies. Again, with that, the way they work through me, Corinne, is that like I'll get either a like a pullback feeling of negative or a positive feeling. And all of these things that I've been discussing, she really just wants to give you an incredible amount of approval. An incredible amount of approval. She wants to tell you that she's proud of you. Um, Hold on. She says what it feels like she's saying to me is she's proud of how you work through your panic attacks. So can I ask you, do
Yeah.
you have panic attacks?
Yeah.
Okay. So and you know how to work through them?
Yes, it's taken a lot of practice, but yeah, I am slowly working through them. Yeah.
It's, it's fascinating because she's the way she shows that to me is like you grinding your teeth, like oh, or like
Hmm.
grinding your jaw and grinding your teeth. She's
Yeah, like
showing that
my
to me,
jaw, yeah,
and
my
then
jaw
and then
clenches and yeah.
and then you get out of it, like, and then you work yourself out of it. She's there with you. Okay, she's there with you. Also, Corinne, interestingly, so before you met me, you were somebody who believed in spirit, the afterlife, people carrying on, death, and like spirit and all that. It's funny because what she's bringing, and she took a somber note here. She like brought it down a level. She went from like, she was very serious when she says this. So what she's pointing to is there's a man in spirit, and she's telling me you do not need to worry about him. He cannot get to you. There's nothing for you to worry about. So can I ask you, is there a man you're afraid of in spirit or you have bad history with?
Um, no, but my daughter has been seeing someone in her room at night, and I like my husband doesn't really believe in this stuff, and like I come from a very Christian family, whatever. And so my daughter keeps saying that she's seeing a man laughing at her in her room at night, and she's 4. So I've been really freaked out about that because I believe that children are really sensitive to spirits.
Sure.
So I'm glad you're saying that because, yeah, I have been worried about it.
So it's one of the things like I want to tell you that led me into that because she's showing me like he's contained. Don't worry about him. There's nothing to worry about. Okay. Um, it's funny because some of the messages I don't mean to do this, but I got a little bit of a message right before she said this that I kind of like I almost internally rolled my eyes at, and I don't mean to. Um, she gave me ocean water. Okay. She gave me ocean water and told me that it would be very good for you. And from my perspective, I don't want to share that with you because most people love the ocean. You know what I mean? Most people love like walking
Hmm.
along the beach and being next to the ocean. But being that she gave me that, and then she talks about, excuse me, this man being kind of isolated and alone or away from you. Are you guys like in an apartment, someplace that's been lived in before?
We're
Or
in
like a home that's
it's a
been lived in
house.
before?
It's
It's a
yes,
house.
it was built in like the 70s. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to give you a little bit of what would be considered spiritual hygiene and a way to
Okay.
cleanse a place. You're familiar with the idea of like saging and smudging?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Okay, don't do that. And there's
Okay.
a reason,
I don't even
there's
know.
a reason
Yeah.
you don't
I
even know
don't
what
know
that
where to
is
get
like.
sage. Yeah. I mean, I don't know
Oh,
where to
okay.
get like where do you go get clary sage, you know? Like I don't know.
Okay, then don't even worry about it because
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's a problematic thing. You know, the white sage is being over harvested. It's very much a Native American practice, and white people can kind of turn it into like, be gone, evil spirit. You know, they and it can kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
be misappropriated, if you will. But I want to tell you energetically a very powerful cleansing method. Okay, a very powerful cleansing method.
Okay.
Salt water. All right. Salt water is like the nuclear version of energetic cleansing. So I would always recommend to somebody who deals with a lot of secondary trauma or emotional stuff themselves, take a salt bath on a regular basis. Sea salt, not Epsom salt, kind of try to replicate ocean water. And that cleanses your auric field. It cleanses your chakras. You know, like it sloughs off the miasma that you would pick up from some experiences. But salt water in homes, very powerful for cleansing unhealthy energies. Now, if your daughter is seeing a man laugh at her in her room, you may very well want to take a bowl of salt water and just bless her space. So let me give you a little bit of an
Mm-hmm.
instruction around that.
Okay.
You take warm salt water, you put a bunch of sea salt in it, like warm water, put sea salt in it to where it feels good, you know, where it dissolves, and now you've got some like actual salt water. And I'm a big believer in the Archangel Michael, especially when used to bless spaces or cleanse spaces. So you can say to a prayer, you can say a prayer to the Archangel Michael. You can walk into that room, dip your hands in that water, and just flick it. Okay, get it like get some on the walls, get some on the floor, get some in the space. You can bless the space. Make your own little version of holy water, but it's got salt and you can bless it. Okay,
I actually have an Archangel Michael necklace. So
you do.
I don't
Yes.
know.
Okay.
Yeah. That's funny that you brought that
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. That's he's my guy right there.
Yeah.
Right. He's
Yeah.
always got my back. So
Yeah.
that's a funny thing. Okay. Here's an interesting thing too. You take your role as mom and wife very, very seriously, don't you? Very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love that. And you know, here's something that's fascinating to me. I love the fact that my eyes were drawn to your email. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I love sitting with moms. I think it's the best job in the entire world, that and parenting in general. But like, I
Yeah.
love that I'm able to sit with this. Why does Graham need you to get back to creating? She says you have forgotten your artist. She's saying you have forgotten your artist. Where's the creativity?
I've been in kind of a slump, I guess, but I used to crochet a lot, especially when I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. It kind of just felt like I was like almost like just full, like literally nodding my worries into like my creations, you know what I mean? And I kind of feel like as I've like stabilized, I just don't do it anymore. I don't know why. It's kind of silly, but yeah.
We can get distracted and what have you, but and it's funny because that refers back to that old lady stuff that she likes watching you do. You know, we think of crocheting
Yeah.
as like the old lady stuff. So I love that. Here's okay. Tradition is very important to you, especially around holidays. This is what she's saying to me. Tradition is very important. What I want you to consider doing,
Yeah.
please, and I don't know if you've already done this. I'm not sure if you're doing this. She shows you know how like kids can make plaster casts and then put their hands in it, right? And then maybe like put a hole through it and make an ornament or something like that. She's saying
Yeah.
make sure that your children put their hands on something, make handmade gifts, every year and show them to the people, like, folks, people that you love, all of that. She wants you, she wants you to do that. She wants you to do that. And I
My
don't know if it's
parents just
actually
bought
like,
kits my for those dough decor, the salt dough decorations. My parents just bought kits for all the grandkids to like make handprint decorations. So
yes. Do
yeah,
you see how she's seeing it? Like she's
yeah.
watching, she's observing everybody do this stuff. Okay. Here's the other thing too. Watch how she goes back and forth between these messages. Like, here is appreciation of you as a mom and you as a wife, very proud of you. And then making sure that you don't forget yourself, making sure that you feed yourself, do the things for you. And it's interesting what she would just put into my head. Based on what she just put into my head, you're a reader, aren't you?
I used to be. Yeah, I used to be.
Okay.
I think since having kids, I'm just like too tired at the end of the day to read. You know what I mean?
I want to tell you what she just put into my head. VC Andrews. Do you know who that is?
I have read one DC Andrews book. It was very weird. It's it had some incest in it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Flowers in the attic.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if they all do, but I know that, like, well, I know that when I was a kid, my parents or my mom and my aunts were all into the VC Andrews books, like Flowers in the Attic, If There Be Thorns, all of that. So, you're a 28-year-old woman, and here's Graham saying, I think when it comes to VC Andrews, what she's trying to say is read something that's just kind of dramatic, like junk food, like the how do I, like people love trash TV, like
Yeah.
the reality shows and all that stuff. This is like the book version of that. I
Hmm.
don't know how much literary value there is in VC Anders' works, but she wants you to read from not from a place of like adding a chore to your list, but from a place of helping you check out, helping you appreciate the things that will sustain you. It's interesting. Oh my gosh. She's telling me that you have several examples of this, and I'm about to use a word that I dislike, but it's the only one that applies in this scenario. And I will speak to it so I can apologize for using it. Um, she wants to make sure that you don't become a Karen. Okay. You're
Yeah.
familiar with what that is, right?
Hmm.
Okay. For me, I see women who become that later on in life as women who have taken life very seriously and they are always focusing on the negative to reduce it. They're always looking at the negative to make sure that it's minimized in their lives. And then they become, because they don't get enough joy and they don't take enough time for themselves, they become the people who are like, let me talk to your manager because this is not acceptable. That sort of
Hmm.
energy happens because we can deny ourselves, neglect ourselves, and she doesn't want that for you. Interestingly, she says, why does she want you to be careful of your wrist? Like
I
your wrist.
I have a lot of wrist pain. I sleep, like I find myself sleeping with my wrist curled in, and then I wake up and my wrist hurts so bad, and I don't know how to not sleep with my hands like curled in. So
Brace, maybe.
maybe, yeah. I mean, I think I'm probably gonna have to resort to that because I'm thinking I've got some carpal tunnel creeping up probably. So
Yeah, and that's fascinating, Corinne, because you're a 28-year-old mother. You're not in a factory or you're not on a
hmm.
keyboard doing all this repetitive stuff. So I'm like, how the hell do you have wrist problems? But Graham's watching this, okay? All right, hold on 1 second. She smells so good to me. She smells so good to me. She must have had a perfume
She
or something like that. She wants
she wore
and and
Estee
and
Lauder.
and I'll tell you something, we're gonna have issues with her. Here's why. She doesn't want to give me up as a phone line. She will take this whole session over, okay? Like she doesn't want to let anybody else through. She doesn't want to let anybody else talk. She is so about you
Can I
and
say
with you.
something weird about her? So I'm
That's
like
it.
really surprised that she came through because I mean, like I knew her growing up, but she had dementia when I knew her. So like I never knew her, and I didn't really think like sorry, I'm gonna get to your foot. I didn't think she was invested in me like she would be invested in me in her afterlife, you know, because she didn't know me. Like she, when I was a child, she thought like I was my mom as a child. She didn't know who I was. We never had those conversations, you know. And so I'm really surprised that she showed up.
I don't have anything to do with it. I don't choose it. They
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
and
They just come through.
let's chat for a moment about why that happens. Okay?
Okay.
So I always talk about the world of spirit and our world overlapping and interacting like a one-way mirror we see in a cop show. Okay. Now, when a person passes from this world to the afterlife, every single person goes through a life review. We look at our lives, we understand them, we heal from them, learn from them, mitigate them, all of that. And then we get to work. And the word, I don't like to use the word spirit guides for lots of reasons. The word that really like I feel applies to how they act in our world is like there are umbrellas. We walk around with them over us. They guide us, they heal us, they lend us energy. This woman is your umbrella. Now, let's just speak to love. You know, she loved your mom, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
she
going
did
to
love my
love
mom. Yeah.
she's going to love her daughter, and she's going to see her granddaughter who's you also have children. You know, you also wait. This is I love how she says this. Don't discount how interesting you are. So
Okay.
so so what she just said to me was that, yeah, I love you. You're my family. I'm going to watch over you, but you're also damn interesting. So you're fun to be
Like
around.
she's watching me like a TV show.
Yes. That's exactly it. Like that analogy of the one-way mirror, you take that a step further, you're her TV show. Also, you're an interesting person. And what I'm getting from her around that is I think you'd be a woman that if you were of the same age, she would talk to you. She'd be interested in having conversations with you. You'd be interesting. You know, you're not one
Yeah,
dimensional. You're not shallow. I think you ask questions. You're somebody who was raised in a Christian household, and you are looking for, you had told me you had found me because you're kind of doing research around spiritual podcasts. So here you
correct.
are, raising a family, but also you have spiritual pursuits. You're interested in things that
Hmm.
makes you interesting. So she just says that you're interesting, and she
Sorry,
loves how you talk to
I am
yourself.
transitioning inside because my phone is dying. So you're gonna hear chaos
Yeah,
for
go
a
for
second
it.
here.
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. That don't bother me at all. Here we are. All right.
Into the quiet room. Okay.
Yep. You get onto your connection.
I'm grabbing it. Gosh, no charger. Okay. I didn't realize that this that Zoom was gonna make my phone die so quickly. But are you still hearing from same
I,
person?
I'm yeah. That yes. Yeah. She's like I said, she's not wanting to give this up right here. So she still has things to say. She still has things to
Okay.
say, okay? Um, all right. Here's I have to be careful with what she's giving me now, all right? So I
Okay.
have to bring it to you with like kid gloves in terms of this. Okay. All right. I shake my head because, well, just to give you some perspective, Corinne, I'm a 46-year-old gay man who will still
Hmm.
blush. Okay. Like
Right.
I'll still blush. Now, the image that she gives me is this. At 28, I'm not sure if you've ever seen the Dukes of Hazzard.
I have. Yes.
Okay. Now, here's what's interesting about we'll just call her Graham. Here's what's interesting
Okay.
about her. I think she liked men.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And um, how do I say this? She wants to remind you how important it is to remain a hot-blooded American woman.
Okay. Noted. No issues
Okay.
in that department.
Excellent. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, let's put that into a perspective. How often are women, especially in religious households, raised to have shame over their body, you
Yeah.
know?
And I feel really lucky that somehow I didn't internalize any of that. I know a lot of women that did. Somehow, I mean, I think I dealt with some of it, but not as badly as most people do. And yeah.
Also, hold on, this is really strange. She actually needs you to watch the Dukes of Hazzard for her. Okay?
Okay.
Like just throw up an episode or two, have it on in the background, maybe when you're crocheting or doing something like that, just to entertain Graham in the spirit world. That's hilarious. That is
Okay.
hilarious.
I
Okay.
haven't seen it in a long time. Okay, I'll do that.
You have a brother?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Why would she say this to me? I'm sorry for how much he hurts you.
Um, I mean, I think we have a good relationship on paper, but um, like, we're just not super close. You know what I mean? And I wish we were. And he's kind of um, like drawn into himself a little bit, I feel like. And I do take it really hard, I think. So,
Okay. Well, the world doesn't revolve around you, Corinne. No.
is that what she said?
Kind of. But don't make it about you, okay? Don't make those internal issues that he's having about you. Don't take that personally, all right?
I
Now, the
tend
other
to do
thing
that,
too
yeah.
is what I'm getting is horse to water, okay? Maybe you need to initiate, give him some water to go drink from. Maybe you need to initiate contact. Also, he is he physically, like, geographically close to you?
Yeah.
Okay. What's fascinating to this is she wants you guys to play Catan.
Okay. I mean, we used to play, but like that's really really funny because he's super into board games, and every family vacation we went on as kids and stuff, we would always just spend hours playing board games, and Catan was one of those. And since we have become adults and had kids, like when we've gone on vacation, even we just don't do it. We bring him and we never play. So yeah,
Well, interesting. Is there any way that you could, and I have a hard time saying this because you're a mom of what, two kids, right? Two kids?
hmm
Okay. So I hate to give moms of children like tasks to do, but here's something for you to do. She says make him a lasagna. She shows me lasagna. Okay. Lasagna is not easy to make. It's like got a lot of steps to it. She's showing me lasagna and game night. Is there any way that you could have a dinner game night that you could invite him to?
yeah, there is, and it's funny that she says lasagna because that side of the family on Christmas Eve, that was their thing, is they would eat lasagna. So yeah,
Maybe
I've
there's
never
a
made a
little.
lasagna from scratch, but
You can do it. You can do
I
it. You can do
yeah,
it. You can do
I'm
it.
sure I
Okay.
could.
I think you need a new mattress. She's talking about a shoulder injury.
Okay, that's weird. I've had shoulder pain like only the last maybe week. And I think it's sleeping related. So
Yeah. You might need a new mattress or three or four new pillows. I don't know what you need to do to prop yourself up and
yeah,
I don't know what that is, but
I'm
there's
a side
something
sleeper,
sleeping
and
related.
yeah, and so I have to find something that and puts my head at the same level as my spine. I know that it's just hard to find pillows like that. So, but
No,
and we've had yeah,
okay. Why is she telling me to tell you? Don't do with your hair what your mom does with hers.
okay. It's really it's funny because I'm like seeing a lot of the personality that I was told about through like from my mom that like coming through you. So she cared a lot about appearances. My mom just like I don't know, we have very different hair textures, but my mom just like lobs her hair off like at the shoulder and you know. So it's just funny.
It's funny. She's like, whatever your mom's doing with her hair, don't you do to yours.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't you do to yours. All right. Have you found, Corinne, at 28, that you've had to start parenting your mom yet?
Yes. Just
Okay.
recently, like the last year.
Yep. Hold
Yeah.
on. It's interesting. So, like this, like your Graham loves your mom, but what's
Hmm.
fascinating to me is she says she's always had a chip on her shoulder.
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
Always had a chip on her shoulder. And because she has a chip on her shoulder, it's going to be very difficult for her to hear reason or
Hmm.
other people's perspectives and opinions. Like she's kind of like blinded my way or the highway sort of thing.
Hmm.
So that's led into you having to parent her,
Hmm.
and that's a real son of a bitch. Like we
Hmm.
shouldn't have to parent our parents. But wait. Is there a sister? Do you have a sister?
I have no, but I have sister-in-laws.
Okay, hold on. What your grandma's saying is it feels like in the next 3 years, and I don't, when I do this work, Corinne, I don't do much in the way of future work. Like, I don't talk
Hmm.
about the future. I don't really predict the future. But what she's saying is it's like, don't worry about her because in the next 3 years, she's going to get super distracted. And that feels like another child coming in. So, like, if you had a sister in law who had a child within the next 3 years, would your
I have
mom
a
be like,
pregnant sister-in-law.
oh, okay. So
Yeah.
very soon, your mom will be distracted.
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom right now is very much like there she's like in between like waiting for a house to sell in like kind of bad moving situation and she's just kind of like stuck in like a very negative headspace, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. I don't know. This new grandchild's going to take her attention, apparently. Or maybe,
yeah,
your mom becomes a significant figure in terms of like daycare, everyday care. I'm not sure what the family dynamics are, but Graham's like, don't worry, she's going to get distracted soon enough. She's going to be distracted.
yeah,
Okay. Part of the difficulty I get with messages is that I don't know if she's talking about it like literally or figuratively. So I'm gonna give you the messages she's giving me. If it's a literal thing, then it's gonna be easy to figure out. If it's a figurative thing, we're gonna have to peel it apart a little bit. Okay. She's saying there's something in your life that was built in a way that you're not happy about. And this is what she says to me. She goes, well, take it all apart and then build it like you would want it to be. Do you see where that could be figurative or like it almost looks like a tower of some sort? Like okay, I have to be careful with tower imagery because I don't know if you're a tarot student at all. Tarot cards at all. Okay,
mm-mm.
in tarot, one of the tarot cards is called the Tower, and it's about destroying something that should not have been built in the first place. And I don't know if she's talking about something. She says that you're unhappy with something, but it's time for you to break it down and put it back together the way you want it to be. Now, this
Yeah.
could be interpersonal relationships because you see what she's doing, like talking to mom, talking about mom, and then she goes, boom, break it down and put it together the way you want it to be. Can I ask, are there issues with boundaries with your mom?
No, actually, well, I don't know. There's boundary issues, no. I feel like what she's talking about, and I don't want to like, give too much information
No,
for later in
help
the
me,
reading, but
help me.
I'm a recovering alcoholic, so I don't know if that's
Okay.
what she's talking about. Like, those like basically it started when I became a mom. Like I built these like coping mechanisms, like just to turn my brain off at night, and so I think that's what she's talking about is like building because it started like with my journey as a mother. That's how I built it. That's how I'm taking it.
Ah,
And so I think she's talking about me like building something else. So like when she was talking about like reading and crocheting and stuff, I kind of feel like it's all like, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's how I'm taking it.
no, no, I invited you to help me peel that message apart. Now, I want to share with you something because uh I don't, in my everyday readings, I will bring in tarot when I am called to. Okay.
Hmm.
I don't generally make it part of the podcast, but I do want to show you the card that I'm talking about. Now, you'll love this because there's a lot of, you'll love it just because of, you know, your geekiness around this stuff. You're gonna
Yeah.
love this. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so here we have the tower card. Okay.
Hmm.
And the tower
It looks
is
scary.
based. Right. Watch, though.
Okay.
The tower, a lot of people that read it on the surface will see it as a scary card. I love this card, and I'll explain to you why. So, okay, the tower card is based on the myth from the Bible of the Tower of Babel. Do you know that myth?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so for folks that are listening and watching along, the Tower of Babel was the myth where in the Bible, I think it was in the Old Testament, there
Hmm.
was one culture, one people, one language, one human race. They got a little full of themselves and they thought they'd build a tower up to God. God wasn't having it. He destroyed the tower, sent all humans to the four corners of the earth, and that's where we get our different races or different languages from the Bible. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay. So that tower card speaks of destruction, yes, but it also talks about destruction of something that shouldn't have been born in the first place. I will give you my tower moment. I've known I was gay since I was like 3 or 4. I've also known that I
Hmm.
can't share it with people. So over the course of my life, or like I couldn't share it when I was a kid, over the course of my life, I internalized all the homophobia that I was exposed to. Not only did I know I was gay, but I knew I was bad and an abomination and disgusting and gross and all of that. Even after I came out of the closet, I still carried internalized homophobia. Right. I've broken it down. That internalized homophobia was something that was built inside of me that should never have been built in the first place, and it needed to be destroyed. Do you see how where that could be a great card then?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this, and this is important. Do you have any shame around that journey?
Oh yeah. Tons.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to reframe it for you. So, this is probably where we can do a little destruction and a little rebuilding it and reframe work. Okay. The first thing, if you had a daughter or a sister or a best friend who had that experience, had kids, recovering alcoholic, coping mechanisms, or what have you, recovery is a huge deal. You need to be celebrated for that. And if you knew that you had a sister or a best friend or a child who is in your position right now, after all of that, succeeding and everything, would you want them to have shame?
No, of course not.
Okay. I need you to reframe it. Okay. I need you to rebuild this story in a different way that doesn't like unnecessarily drain you. Now, I'm
Hmm.
glad that we can talk about this because part of the work that I do, and sometimes I get into it on my podcast episodes when I have a crowd. Sometimes I don't come anywhere near it. But every time I sit with a person like you, Corinne, I have to share with you the secret to life. Would you like that?
I would love that.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a set of questions and I'm going to have you answer them internally. But when I ask you them and you get the thing and you answer it, just give me a little nod or a sound of affirmation that you have it, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So Corinne, uh, bear with me as we go through these three questions. I want to have you put into your mind the biggest part of your body you dislike the most.
Okay.
Do you have it?
Hmm.
Okay. I want you to compartmentalize your mind into two. I want you to draw a line down the middle of your mind, and on the other side of that line, I want you to put into your mind what you would tell your daughter, your sister, your best friend if they felt that way about their body.
Okay.
Okay. In this moment, can you compare and contrast? And they're different, yeah? Like what you tell yourself about your body and what you would tell somebody you love about theirs, it's different, yes?
Hmm. Yes.
Okay. I want you to now, we've kind of touched base on this a little bit. I want you to put into your mind your biggest regret, shame, or guilt.
Okay.
If you had a child, daughter, sister, or best friend that felt that way about a circumstance like that, put into your mind what you would tell them.
Okay.
Different, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You and I have just accomplished a couple of things, and I want to ask you a non-related question, all right?
Okay.
Do you know who Mark Zuckerberg is?
Yes.
All right. Every day, I think he's like the third richest dude on the planet. Every day, Mark Zuckerberg wakes up, puts on jeans and a gray t-shirt. Do you know why he does that?
No, I don't.
This is strange, but it'll make sense once you hear. He gets up, puts on jeans and a gray t-shirt every day because he understands the human being, you, I, and him, have a battery when we wake up. We have a limited amount of emotional and mental capacity to get through the day. He, that guy does not want to spend any energy picking out an outfit.
Yeah,
Isn't that mind blowing?
that is. It's
No,
crazy.
here's what else is fascinating. A person in recovery, when people are in drug and alcohol recovery, they will be often told to limit the decisions they make over the course of a day so they don't run out of steam and willpower and fall off the wagon.
Hmm.
Okay. What I just illustrated to you, Corinne, is that you're walking around spinning plates up here about your body and about your past that you wouldn't want another person to spin.
Hmm.
Correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I want to get right to it. I don't bullshit anybody when I do this work. The secret to life is the answer to the question, what would I tell my child?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, your internal conflicts, your external problems can pretty much be figured out when you ask yourself that question. And I want to tell you why. And okay, I run the risk of editorializing as I go along. And I missed something at the very beginning of this. And I want to talk to you about this.
Okay.
It's so weird. Now I'm being called to bring it out. All right. One of the things that I felt at the very beginning, this woman that's been with me? Okay, she's been
Hmm.
with me for the past for 20 minutes before I started this session with you. You know who else has been with me? And this blows my mind is
Who?
Jesus. Jesus, like the
Oh,
Jesus. Okay.
wow.
Well, hold on one second. So the Jesus Christ, okay?
Hmm.
Based on whenever I feel him around people, that's because people are calling on him.
Yeah.
Okay. So you come from a Christian household, you're sitting with a psychic medium. The psychic medium feels Jesus on you, which means you're also somebody who would throw up a prayer to him every once in a while. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, let me give you my perspective as to who Jesus is. All right.
Okay.
Jesus is just a dude. A lot of people won't like to hear that. A lot of
Yeah.
people won't like to hear that because people like make him into God. And I don't think that's anything that he wanted to be.
Yeah.
From my perspective, Jesus feels to me like how saints feel to me. So, from my perspective and experience, we have our umbrellas who are the ancestors. They're kind of with us all. Then above them, like a layer above, like in an onion, there would be what you could call ascended masters, saints, bodhisattvas, people who have evolved in spirit and remain in spirit to help the world of the living. And then you would have your angels and then the archangels. So it's like almost like a power reduction. When we touch base with angels, it's flowing through, when we touch base with archangels, it's flowing down through angels and ascended masters and ancestors down through to us. Again, raised by bikers. I had a pretty traumatic
Hmm.
first 10 years of my life. Okay. So, like, I,
Yeah.
I bring that up because for a long time in my life, I was very anti Christian, very anti Catholic, thinking that everybody who was Christian or Catholic meant me harm. But for you, I need to share with the fact that the secret to life is the question, what would I tell my kid? And the reason why that works is because the answer you get comes from love. It comes from love. Now, Corinne, can I ask, as a mom and a wife, you want to be the strongest version of yourself? Want to be the smartest version of yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You're never going to find the strongest or smartest version of yourself through self hatred, worry, fear, or anxiety. You will not. Here's why. When we have to carry a burden for somebody we love, we will find the strongest version of ourselves. When we have to solve a problem for somebody we love, we will find the smartest version of ourselves. Those two things that I just talked about, your body and your past, you're looking at both of those things through all sorts of lenses. None of them are love. None of them are love. And I want you to consider something. You weren't born into this world hating your body. You picked something up along the way that made you hate your body. Movies, TV, advertisements, fairy tales, all sorts of shit that we're exposed to. But I know that there's a part of you that definitely does not want to be mediocre. And it feels like there's a part of you that's like sworn to not be mediocre. Okay,
Yeah.
imagine this. Imagine how many women live 60, 70, 80 years hating their body because they couldn't understand advertising and propaganda. And then they die and they look back on their life, look back on their body, and they're like, I was beautiful. That body was what helped me have babies and no cheeseburgers and dance on mountains.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this body is our holy vessel. We're taught to hate it. But
Yeah.
I just illustrated for you that there's a part of you on the inside that has indelible wisdom. We just get trained away from it. So when I say to you, the secret to life is the answer to the question, what would I tell my kid? It's very similar to what Jesus said when he said, the kingdom of God is within. Now, this is my experience. We're all God. We're all part of God. Source, universe, spirit, whatever it is. It's like God broke off into like a million trillion different pieces that forgot itself. And now we're just trying to remember ourselves and know love and joy and connection and family and cheeseburgers and all of that while we do it. But we always carry that part of us with us. You know what I mean? We always
Yeah.
carry that part of us with us. In fact, no, and this is why some of the churches don't like people like me because we don't need church to find it. We can have a church to find it. We can have a good book to help us find it. But because it's basically the foundation upon which our existence is built, we have immediate access to it all the time. So nobody can take it from you. Nobody can give it to you. They can only convince you that you're separate from it. But there's no commercial, no propaganda that you would ever ingest, Corinne, that would make you hate your babies. You know? Okay.
Yeah.
What's made you hate yourself? What's made you beat yourself up? A whole bunch of bullshit for sure.
Yeah.
but it can melt away. Okay, it can just melt away. Here's what else is interesting too. I have to ask you. I have to ask you one more question. This is the third question. I'm going to ask you this question. You're going to grab the first thing that pops into your head,
Okay.
and don't say it out loud. Just grab it and let me
Okay.
know that you have it. All right, Corinne. Oh, what's the biggest problem in your life right now? Grab it.
Okay.
You have it.
Mhm.
Okay. You want peace around it, yes?
Mhm.
What would you tell your child to do with it?
Yeah.
Now, whenever I go through this with a person, right? Like, let me just acknowledge you can try all the things in the world, but until you do the thing that you'd want your child to do, nothing's going to work.
True.
Okay. I have a question, and this is completely your choice. I usually don't ask people to vocalize what like what the answer is, and then what the answer is. So, based on the fact that you are like you're very courageous to share this time with others. Is that something
Mhm.
that you wanted to share vocally? Did you want to say, hey, this was my biggest problem, and hey, this is what I would tell my child? Or you can keep it to yourself.
No, I mean, I'll share. I'm not afraid. I still am like struggling with, what it looks like to um like if I'm the kind of person that can drink casually in my life, and it's become like kind of, obsessive, like, oh, just have one drink or whatever. And I would tell my daughter, if she had problems with alcohol, dump it in the toilet, don't have it in the house. So those were that's what came into my head. So yeah.
I don't know what else to say to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know
mean,
that
I answered my own question, so yeah.
now in that way. Oh, again, this is what I'm supposed to do with everybody. I'm supposed to guide you back to the authority of your own heart. That's it. And when it comes to spiritual seekers like you know, you're a
Hmm.
spiritual seeker. Okay. I believe that a spiritual path or a spiritual person, practitioner like myself, that's worth their salt is always going to guide a person back to their own soul. So here's a fun little visual aid. I have a Herkimer diamond here. This is from Herkimer, New York. It's a crystal, right? So I want you to imagine that this represents your divine soul, the part of you that's
Hmm.
going to carry on after you pass. All right. So your divine soul becomes incarnated as a human being. And then basically, as soon as you're alive, you start to become an algebra equation full of variables. What I mean by that is like, here's your parents, here's your gender, here's your culture, here's religion if you had it, here's your TV shows that you watched if you did, here's the best friend in sixth grade who betrayed you. Do you see how we're like a sum of our parts? Okay.
Hmm.
For me, the spiritual path is working through those parts to get to the glory that is this. That's our soul. So, like, you know, therapy's great, not for everybody, but it's for a lot of people. Therapy's great. Understanding things is great. Being inquisitive and asking ourselves questions. How did our parents mess us up? Even the best parents in the world are going to mess us up. How did our TV shows mess us up? You know, I'm a plus size person. I do not have like Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp abs. You know what I mean? I am taught to hate my body. Okay. And we all
Hmm.
are. But I was never hating my body when I came into this world. And getting back to
Right.
this by always asking, what would I tell my child? And then telling ourselves that. So here's a fun thing. You make lists.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's a list for you. I want you to just do this whenever you can. If you, especially when you want clarity, take a blank sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left hand side, you're going to write down all your bullshit, all your problems in your heart, your mind, your life. Over here, you're going to write down what you would tell a child. and that column becomes your your religion. You become your religion. Your heart, your guidance, your love becomes your guiding light. The best part about that, the icing on the cake, is this: as a mom and a wife who takes her life seriously and takes the well-being of her family seriously, you're going to be busy insisting on everybody around you being their own best friend, right? Do the
Hmm.
best for you, do the best for you. If you're insisting on being your own worst enemy, even with the internal dialogue, how can anybody around you take you seriously? Because you'd be a hypocrite.
Right.
Now, as the mom of some young kids, you'll soon learn, if you haven't figured it out already, that your children, they're going to do what you show them, not what you tell them.
Hmm.
So you could be a mom who's like, hey, hon, love your body, love your face, love everything about you. And then she is catching you in the mirror, like rolling your eyes at yourself and being frustrated with yourself. If you want your daughter to love every bit of herself, then it's important that you do your damnedest to do that as well. Okay. What's fascinating here is this: you still have a very childlike nature, and it's not because you're 28. I feel like there's a very childlike nature in you, whether you're 38 or 48. And that doesn't mean childish, it means childlike. And that's a really healthy way to get through life. Why is Graham showing me what looks like a little monster, stuffed monster in your room?
I had a Stitch stuffed animal growing up that I slept with every night. I don't know if that's what she's showing you, but
What
I
is
slept
it?
with it
Kind
every
of
night
stuffed
until I was
animal?
like 20. Stitch, like Lilo and Stitch. I got it at Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I slept
Lilo
with
and
it
Stitch.
every night until I was like 20. So I don't know if that's what she's like, you
Okay,
know.
do you still have it?
No, I don't. I lost it. Yeah.
So in your room right now, you don't have a stuffed animal, like a little stuffed monster or anything?
Not, no, my daughter has lots of stuffed animals, but I don't, yeah, I don't have anything in my room right now. No, not like that. But
Okay,
like I said,
I'm gonna give you a little hint, okay?
okay.
I'm gonna give you a little insight, peek behind the curtains. Um, this is not public knowledge, and I've never shared this publicly. So when I was a little boy, like 7, 8 years old, growing up in the 80s, I loved the Care Bears.
Hmm.
Loved the Care Bears. I
Yeah.
also loved the Universal monsters like Dracula and the Wolfman and Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So I now have two Care Bears that I sleep with. One is a Dracula Care Bear and one is a Frankenstein Care Bear. And I'm a 46-year-old man and I don't give a shit. They delight the hell out of me. And I'm going to pass that over to you. I
That's
think
really
you
funny.
need a stuffed Stitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
Also, maybe you're sleeping like that because you're trying to curl up and hold on to the stuffed animal that you've been missing all these years. What if that's the thing?
That could very likely be. I have a Nod Pod. Do you know what those are? It's like a weighted sleep mask. It's on the bed somewhere, but and sometimes I like find myself like holding it like a stuffed animal, but it's not big enough, you know. It's a sleep mask. So yeah, gotta find the stuffed Stitch.
I would do that. I would really do that. I would do that. No, okay. The next thing is, um, your mom was adopted, yes. So the next thing would make sense with what I would say. But Graham's showing me interest in ancestry and genealogy. Is this accurate?
Yeah, I've been trying to find my mom's birth family.
Okay. Do you know who they are?
No,
You
I
don't
haven't been
have the
able to find
names?
anything. No, the records are sealed, and the more research I do, I find that actually, like, specifically with those Catholic birth homes that my maternal grandmother went to, they would just like completely shred the files and like put basically fake names so that like the mothers wouldn't be able to find their children later on. And that was like the only period of time was between like 1959 and 1970 that they were able to do that, just completely like wipe. the records. So I want to do like an actual genealogy test, but my mom, I don't think, is emotionally ready for that. She never has been. So, I mean, I could do it on myself and see what comes up, but
I that wouldn't hurt. But here's what's fascinating to me. So, do you know your dad's side of the family?
hmm
Okay, hold on one second. So I'm going to just tell you what I'm seeing. Graham is telling me to have you reach back in the years, do the research because she's showing me what looks like ships, like either a pirate ship or like the Mayflower or something. I don't know if it's the Mayflower or something, but she wants you to go back to like the 1600s. If you can't do that through your mom's line, you definitely want to do that through your dad's, but she is definitely saying go to the past, go to the past. If you can do a
okay.
genetic, she says, why do you think you like pasta so much?
I don't know. I mean, I love pasta. Like, I don't know, it's like my fixation food, like my
No,
go-to
no, no,
food.
no. Hold on. She's trying to tell me something. And like, here's the funny thing. Like, they have all the answers that you seek. They won't tell me.
Yeah.
That's a son of a bitch to me. They know it all. They won't tell me things, especially if it gets in the
Yeah.
way of your development or if it's information that you shouldn't have. But why would she say, why do you think you love pasta so much? That's interesting. So, what cultures, I mean, we associate pasta with Italians, but
Oh, weird. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty white, so uh, I guess I could be Italian, but
or you could have 30% Italian in you and would never
yeah,
know, you know?
yeah,
Why don't you consider doing it like a DNA test just to see what it
yeah.
pops up?
Couldn't hurt.
Couldn't hurt. I mean, it's just going to show you like you're 15% Dutch and, 20% this and all of that. Okay, hold on. Based on what she's giving me, your high school years must have been hell.
Yeah.
Hold on. So she says that and please know that this isn't like, I don't want you to walk away from this thinking that it's like, oh, a prescription or an order from God or spirit. She's
No, no.
saying that you need to write a book. Okay. But what she's saying to me is that a book between 12 and 18, from 12 to 18, she's giving me those years very specifically.
Yeah.
Why? You know, like,
Um, why gosh, I hate that this is coming in. I was bullied horribly, like to the point that I had to switch schools twice during that time in my life. So I think that's probably what she's talking about.
would it
Yeah.
start at 12 and end when you graduated?
I mean, it started in like third or fourth grade, really ramped up in middle school and then high school and ended, yeah, my last year of high school. So,
Maybe that's worth writing down.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know you, Corinne. You don't you don't give me the impression of being somebody who's afraid of much.
thanks for saying that. I mean, yeah, I guess that's true in some ways.
Well, come on now, let's give yourself credit where it's due. You're a mom, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't run away from that, did you?
No,
Okay. Literally the toughest job in the whole goddamn world.
yeah.
Literally the toughest job. So if you're doing that with even a smidge of sanity and enthusiasm, like you're kicking ass. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like super important to remember that. And I don't know if that book is, right now or 5 years from now, but there could be something that is really, really worthwhile in those endeavors.
Yeah.
And for
I
me,
love to write.
you know, I've been bullied, I've been stalked, I've been harassed, you name it, I've had it. And every time I go through an experience like that, I try to remember whenever I think of myself as a victim, I just transform it into the word student. And I think,
Hmm.
like a victim of bullying, absolutely, but also a student of people and yourself and the world and administration and all of it. So, oh my gosh, you're not a writer at all, are you?
I love to write, but I kind of haven't really since I became a mom.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm not joking when I say this. I need you to consider writing a book. I need you to consider exploring how to write a screenplay and then submitting it to Netflix.
Okay, that's
Like
funny.
that's what I just saw. I saw like a screenplay. You're 28. What if by 38 you're a producer on your own show? And this is
Yeah.
interesting because like weirder things have happened. I mean, look at what happened with JD Vance and his book in the movie. Like
Hmm.
I want you to think about a dramatized version of your life, your childhood. Hopefully, there's enough distance away from it
Hmm.
for you to be able to process that stuff. But is there a movie? Is there a mini series in your childhood? Is there something that could help people based on what you went through?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure. Like, I don't know. I've never really thought that my experiences could help people, but I'm sure that they could. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people who have been through the same things I was, and yeah.
Or possibly helping people who are going through it currently?
Hmm.
I don't know. I just saw Screenplay Netflix, and I watch them all. I got the HBO Max, I got the Paramount
Yeah.
Plus. I don't
Yeah.
I don't have favorites there. So I want you to play with that idea a little bit because it's not coming from Josh. And
I
it's
will.
funny because Graham is showing me like maracas, like the it's almost
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
celebration like sound. Like
Yeah.
in your spare time as a mom, whenever you can find it, you might want to start sketching things out. Just,
Yeah.
oh, I remember this. Oh, I remember that. That would make a great scene. Or,
Yeah.
go down.
I used to write poetry.
Stranger things
And
have happened.
yeah.
And of course, get back to the poetry, get back to all
Hmm.
that, get back to the creativity, get back to all your old lady stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but we live in a wonderful world where, we live in the age of self-publishing. Okay.
Hmm.
Which you could write a book, get it published, or write a book and publish it yourself, write a screenplay, submit it to Netflix. They have a whole process for how that happens, and they're looking for stories like that all the time. You could sell your story and it become a movie or a mini series. Also, why would Graham say stop picking at your nails? I haven't seen you do this. I haven't seen you do this. Do you pick at your nails?
Not my nails themselves, but like my nail beds. Yeah, I peel them back.
The the cuticles?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
She
She don't
would
like that.
she would say that. Yeah. She doesn't like it.
She don't like that.
Okay. Noted.
That's so funny. All right. Corinne, our time is pretty much wrapped up, and I want to thank you for sitting with me to share this time. I really appreciated getting a chance to know you and sit in your energy a little bit. It was fun, and
Yeah.
I love how this landed for the person that it should have. And I hope anybody who has listened or watched this has gotten something from Corinne's story, gotten something from Graham and Spirit. And this is, what a session with me would look like all over the place. Dukes of Hazard,
Yeah.
all over the place. Okay. I need
Okay.
one more thing from you. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody that I sit with gets a reading, gets a 4-leaf clover. So I have a weird thing with 4-leaf clovers. I turn them into little jewels. Okay. Little necklaces, little pins and stuff. You get one. So what that means is that I need you to go to the email that we would have shared about the Zoom link this morning. I would have sent you a Zoom link to this session this morning. I need you to go back to it, and I need you to reply with your mailing address. And in the next couple of weeks, you'll get a surprise in your mailbox.
Thank you.
That's what it is. And just be true to yourself, tap into that soul, call on Jesus, call on Graham, call on them all. But ultimately, remember what the secret to life is. The answer to the question, what would I tell my child? It takes some practice, it takes some dedicated repetition to kind of control the conversation we have with ourselves. But once we do, life just blossoms and our spirits are watching us not suffer unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for today.
Well, thank you.
I'm sure our paths will cross again. Thank you for being my guinea
Yeah,
pig with this episode. And I just really appreciate
that's
you. So
great.
thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for the reading. It was amazing.
Take care of yourself.
You too. Bye.
Bye.